Mixtape Radio.
Welcome to Mixtape Radio. I'm Mike Shea, and every week I'm going to be your host, your guide, your Moses in the desert, as we discover and indulge in some of the best hidden musical gems the internet has to offer. We're combing through places like Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Noise Trade, Reverb Nation, or even just going down to the local dive bar and seeing who's playing Ryan Adams' Wonderwall cover this week. And all of this, by the way, is brought to you by the folks over at Cinescape Media. Now, let me break down how this show is going to work every week. I'm going to share clips of songs from 5 different bands and artists, and they're going to be all kinds of different stuff: rock, rap, hip-hop, EDM, metal, country, blues, whatever the hell else is out there. Nothing is off limits, and I'm going to tell you who these talented folks are and where you can find their tunes so you can check them out for yourself. And at the end of every month, I'll do a special episode where I create a mix of my favorites from the last month. Also, you want to make sure you check out the show's page on cinescape.media, because I'll also be posting a monthly album of the month review, and you'll be able to find a list of the monthly mixes and any other special content that goes up there. We got to have live studio sessions, artist interviews, links to all the social media, all that stuff. But enough talking for now. Let's get into the music. Now, this first track was sent in to us by an artist known as Yamazato from Shelbyville, Indiana. Now, Yamazato is the stage name of a guy named Brandon Kreinhop, who's been playing in bands for many years now. He first picked up a guitar when he was 8 years old, and he's been writing and recording his own music in his spare time. Now, the name Yamazato invokes in the mind like something akin to like J-pop or techno, but what you actually get is like an unexpected sound that falls somewhere in between like Weezer and the Killers, kind of like a groovy, fun, funky rock style. Now, last year he released his first album called Yoroshiko, which you can pick up for free just by going to his website, brandonkreinhop.com, which you can find a link to in the description of this episode. But let's take a listen to the single from that album called Can't Stop Thinking. All right, was Can't Stop Thinking by Yamazato. Make sure you guys check out the links in the description to find Yamazato's music online. Speaking of finding things online, if you'd like to stay up to date with this show, get more involved, be a part of the team, as it were, you can follow us on social media. Mixtape Radio is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram using the handle Mixtape Radiopod. Follow along so you can let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, even send us some music for the show. That's at Mixtape Radiopod. Now, this next band sent us their music for the show right when we first announced that this show was going to be a thing. This band's name is Little Hunters. Now, Little Hunters is a project put together by the duo of Will Higgins and Kara Trainer out of Bensalem, Pennsylvania, right outside of Philly. Man, I could really go for a cheesesteak. Anyway, if you're a fan of groups like Bon Iver, Iron and Wine, Mumford & Sons, Little Hunters is a group you're really very much going to enjoy. I sat back and I listened like with my eyes closed, and in my mind I had like visions of like peaceful outdoors, standing on a cliff in Ireland, looking out over the sea in motion. Like, this is music I would probably say you shouldn't listen to in the car, because it kind of washes over you like a wave, and the next thing you know, you're like lost in a trance, and you don't want to do that while driving. Just saying. But listen, don't take my word for it. Here's a little taste of their song Taylor from the album Tiny Moments in an Instance. That was Taylor by the band Little Hunters. Make sure you guys check out the links in the description to find their album Tiny Moments in an Instance. Now, Little Hunters got their music to us via email, and you guys can do the same. If you'd like to have your music shared on this show, just send an email to mixtaperadiopod@gmail.com. Tell me your name, a little bit about your style, where your stuff can be found online, and most important of all, please send me a song you'd like to have played. Like, if you don't send me a song, the whole thing kind of falls apart. We answer every email that we get, and we check that mailbox daily, so don't waste any time. Send us your music to mixtaperadiopod@gmail.com. Now, this next group is one that I actually requested myself. I am a big fan, and I actually go way back with these guys. So the Old Earthquake is a husband and wife duo group comprised of Stephen and Mary Lyle Cathcart out of Greenwood, South Carolina. Now, Mary Lyle and I are old college buddies. We graduated together from Lander University, go Bearcats, and it's been so much fun watching as she and her husband Stephen have put this project together. The Old Earthquake blends sounds of like bluegrass and garage rock. It's like Americana with a glass of sweet tea in its hand. Stephen and Mary Lyle's two-part vocal harmonies create like a sing-song style that sends a shot of adrenaline into your veins, while the music behind you just kind of makes you want to, make your foot tap, make your hips sway. It's good dancing and swaying and jamming music. So from their album Loud Ones, check out this song. It's called Soft Drugs.
I've been thinking that it's time to do some soft drugs, honey, just a handful. And if we don't like it, we'll stop. I wanna see some colors, wear my stupid t-shirts, turn into the River King and let my hair grow out wild. How much does it take to get high? Is it 5
That was Soft Drugs by the Old Earthquake. Links to where you can find them are down in the description. Music can be a lot of things to a lot of different people. For some, it's a way to pass the time. For others, it's a way to set the mood. For me, it's a reason to make another podcast because apparently I don't have enough going on in my life that I needed another project. And then for some, it's a way to cope with reality, to take the tragedies and setbacks of life and turn them on their head, to take back control of one's own pain and suffering. And that's what our next artist has done. Mariah Haven is a singer-songwriter from right here in Dayton, Ohio, and she's a little bit of an old school mixed with a little bit of the new school. She's a crooner and a twanger and a harmonizer. She writes songs from the heart, and she uses her music as a healing device, a way to work through her own issues and struggles. She takes away those struggles, she takes away their power and the power they have over her, and she kind of seizes control of her own happiness and her own destiny with her music. And in 2015, Mariah Haven released The Growth Project Chapter 1, which is a 5-track EP to help her down her path towards healing after childhood sexual assault. And from that album, here is a track called Growth After Tribulation.
It's just one of those things, darling, that makes you grow. It's just one of those times that we must understand. There's so many things.
That was Growth After Tribulation by Mariah Haven. Check out all her music and other projects at the links down below. Well, folks, we are just about out of time, but there's still one more song I'd like to share with you. Now, this next band, I am a big fan of these guys. If you've listened to any of my other podcasts, you know I've had them on quite a few times, even had them come play some live stuff in the studio. Will that happen on this show? Who knows, but probably. The Paint Splats is a band formed by local music man Brandon Berry, fusing together influences from indie garage rock, funk, and ska. These guys put out tunes that they just make you want to dance, just dance all over the place, dance on top of cars, dance on top of tables, on the freaking walls if you could. If there's one word I would use to describe their music, it's fun. Lots and lots of fun. These guys are an absolute pleasure to see on stage and to listen to. Now let's get funky with one of their songs called Cut the Cord.
All your untouched books up on the
was Cut the Cord by the Paint Splats. Check them out at the links down below. Well, I hate to say it, but that brings us to the end of the show. I know, I'm sad too. But not to worry, we'll be back again next week with 5 new artists, 5 new songs. Make sure you follow us on all the social media at Mixtape Radio Pod. Remember, if you'd like your music featured on the show, just send an email to mixtaperadiopod@gmail.com. This show is a proud member of Cinescape Media, so make sure you go to their website, cinescape.media, and see everything they have to offer. And with that being said, I'm Mike Shea, and this has been Mixtape Radio. We'll catch you guys next week, and until then, please support your local musicians.